Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining us today in today's live lecture coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is a K-Market Day in the month of Onwa Uzo Alosi in Igbo calendar, and 1/8/2026 in the Roman Catholic calendar. Remember, at Nkolo Mahadum, we always advise you to use the naturally given common sense, which we call akonuche in Igbo language. Remember that we are Igbo-centric, Biafran-centric, and African-centric. And therefore, we package our lectures to enable you to see things from how it concerns you, not how it concerns other cultures. Therefore, join us as we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, and live on TikTok. And like, comment, and share. The title of today's lecture is Why Oil and Gas Are the Major Causes of Wars and Attacks in the World. Why is it that oil and gas are the major causes of wars and attacks and most of the problems that we have in this world? That is what we want to bring to you. As you can see, all the wars that have been fought before, the attack on Venezuelan president and his kidnap to the United States, and several other things we shall present to you in this lecture. So it is important that we let our people know why oil and gas are the major causes of wars and attacks in the world. According to Bob Nelson, oilandgas.org, there are so many reasons, there are so many benefits. Oil and gas has so many benefits for the society, for the communities. Supposed to be. But even though in most cases, like in Africa, you don't see those results there. And so, according to Bob Nelson, oilandgas.org, oil is supposed to be a beneficiary, supposed to be benefiting the community, supposed to be benefiting the people, supposed to be useful to the people. That is why oil and gas are the major causes of wars and attacks and troubles across the world. One of the benefits of oil, according to Bob Nelson, is that it provides economic growth and job creation. The oil and gas industry provides economic growth and job creation. One of the oil and gas industry's most significant benefits is its contribution to economic growth and job creation. A lot of people get jobs in the oil industry. It promotes economic growth. The sector supports millions of jobs worldwide. A lot of people work in that sector, in oil and gas, ranging from extraction, bringing the oil from the ground, and refining it in the refineries, transportation, the transportation of the oil. You see many oil tankers all the time transporting oil, say, from one location to the other, and also in the marketing. So the sector provides jobs ranging from extraction, refining, transportation, and marketing. In regions rich in oil and gas resources, the industry often serves as a major economic driver. It's an economic driver, providing high-paying jobs, supporting local businesses through the multiplier effect. This economic activity generates tax revenues that fund public services, such as education, healthcare, infrastructures, benefiting the society. You see, you can see that the oil and gas industry has a lot of multiplier effects. The economic activity generates tax revenue that fund public services such as education, healthcare, infrastructure that benefits the society. Now you can see one of the reasons why oil and gas is so important, that it causes many wars and attacks in the world. Also, it provides energy accessibility and reliability. It provides energy accessibility and reliability. Oil and gas are crucial for providing accessible and reliable energy. They account for a significant portion of the world's energy supply, powering everything from homes and businesses to vehicles and manufacturing plants. You can see that oil and gas are used to power most of the things in the home, like your generators in the home, like your vehicles. And so even manufacturing plants, it is oil and gas. All the companies you have, all the industries you have, it is oil and gas that is used to operate those industries. So you can see that they account for a significant portion of the world's energy supplies, powering everything from your homes, your businesses, to the vehicles that you're driving, and the manufacturing plants. So you can see it is involved in everything, in your home, in your businesses, your vehicles. If your vehicle doesn't have gas, fuel, it will not go anywhere. If your keke, if your bike, motorcycle doesn't have fuel, it's not going to go anywhere. If the vehicles that uses gas doesn't have gas, it won't go anywhere. So if the plants, the industries that produces things in your community doesn't have oil and gas, they will not operate. So it touches every aspect of life. That is what we want you to know. It is involved in your home, in your businesses, in the vehicles you drive, your automobiles, and your manufacturing plants. The reliability of oil and gas as energy sources ensures that societies can function smoothly. It helps the society to function smoothly with minimal disruptions to daily life. You can see that most of the things that the Americans are looking for, the Europeans are looking for, is that they know the benefit of this oil. This oil is very important in their countries because it makes society to function smoothly with minimal disruptions to daily lives. In many developing countries, oil and gas infrastructure projects have brought electricity and heating to communities with limited or no energy access, improving quality of life and enabling further economic development. You can see that what we have presented so far, that the oil and gas are used almost everywhere in our lives, in our homes, in our businesses, in our factories, and in our automobiles. The next point is that oil and gas industries, oil and gas sector brings technological advancements and innovation. They bring technological advancements and innovation. The oil and gas industry significantly drives technological advancements and innovation. Investment in exploration and production technologies have led to the development of more efficient and safer resource extraction methods what they're saying here is that the investment in the machines that they are using to bring the oil from the ground, to extract the oil, and the investment in the refining sector have also made a lot of people rich, because people are investing in those machines in the sector in order to make money. And a lot of people have made money investing in those technologies, in those machines that helps to extract, to bring that oil from the ground upwards and to the refineries where they are refined. And therefore, it has led to development of efficient and safer extraction methods. For example, the advent of the hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling has unlocked vast reserves of natural gas, providing a cleaner burning alternative to coal and reducing greenhouse gas emissions in power generations. So what they are saying is that the investment in the technology, the new technology that people invested in, have made it easier for a better way of bringing the oil out, both horizontally and fracturing drilling, what they call fracturing drilling and horizontal drilling. It has helped to bring better, cleaner burning alternative to coal and reducing greenhouse gas emissions in power generations. Furthermore, the industry's investment in research and development has led to breakthrough in robotics, artificial intelligence, and data analytics, which have applications beyond production. So what they are saying is that the investment in the machines, in the technology that have helped in bringing the oil out, have also enriched the people and make it easier to be getting the oil out through the fracturing system or the horizontal drilling process. Other benefits of the oil and gas sector is supporting other industries. The oil and gas sector also supports numerous other industries, including petrochemicals, transportation, and manufacturing. Petrochemical plants derived from oil and gas produce everyday items such as plastics, fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, and textiles. So what they're saying here is that the oil and gas sector supports other industries as well. And such industries which they support include the petrochemical industries, transportation, manufacturing, because, for example, petrochemical industries produces plastics. You see, in our homes, we use a lot of plastics. There's plastics everywhere. In fact, most of the things we use right now are made of plastics. Is it plastic bags? Is it cups? Is it plates? Name it. So many things that we are using in the house is made up of plastics, which are supported by the oil and gas industry in form of the petrochemical industries. Also, the oil and gas industry helps in the production of fertilizers as well as pharmaceuticals. Many of the packages or packaging in the pharmaceutical industry are uses benefits from the oil and gas sector, as well as other pharmaceuticals and textiles. Textiles like clothing and other things associated with that are textiles. they also benefit. Those are the other sectors that the oil and gas, also supports. So they support the petrochemical industries, which produces plastics. They support the production of fertilizers. They support pharmaceuticals and textiles too. And this interconnectedness, the interconnectedness, the ability of the oil and gas sector to be influencing, to be supporting these other industries, means that the industry's positive impact extends far beyond energy production, influencing the availability and affordability of countless products that people rely on daily. Now you can see why there's always wars and attacks and fighting for oil across the world. These are the benefits, the daily benefits from the oil and gas sector. That is why we want to present this lecture to you today, because often we see all this kata going on here and there across the world concerning the oil this and oil that. That is why we want to explain these benefits for you to know why oil is like the #1 commodity in the world. Another benefit from the oil and gas sector is that it provides community development and philanthropy. Many oil and gas companies engage in corporate social responsibility initiatives that benefit the communities in which they operate. This includes funding for education, healthcare, environmental conservation projects, to name a few. So what they are saying here is that the oil and gas sector also do what they call community development and philanthropy, which means they have to have corporate social responsibilities. What are the corporate social responsibilities? Corporate social responsibilities are what the corporations who are extracting or refining or mining the oil have to be doing to the communities from where those oils come from. It includes funding their education. Are they funding the education in Nigeria? Are the oil companies funding the education in the communities where they are extracting or refining the oil? You give us the answer. You know the answer. And you know that the answer is no. Are they giving the community health care? Are they giving the community health care? The answer is also no. Are they practicing environmental conservation projects to make sure that the environment is protected? And you know that the answer is also no. But these are the benefits that the oil and gas sector is supposed to be providing for the communities in which they are doing business. And so you can see from the above presentation that many people, individuals, have benefited from oil and gas. A lot of individuals have made money from oil and gas. Companies have made money from oil and gas. Countries have made money from oil and gas. You can tell countries, the countries surviving with oil and gas today, in fact, almost all the countries depends on oil and gas. Saudi Arabia is one of them. United Arab Emirates is one of them. America is one of them. Nigeria is one of them. What is sustaining Nigeria today is the oil in Biafra land. Russia is one of them. If everybody is going after the oil. That is why you are seeing all the wars, all the attacks, because everybody needs the oil so that their economy can be functioning well, so that their citizens can have everything they need for smooth running of daily lives, And so don't be surprised that oil was the cause of the Nigerian Biafran War of 1967 to 1970, because immediately oil was discovered in Nigeria in 1956, things changed. Many foreign corporations and countries became interested in that oil because they did it, and they are the one getting the oil from that time up to today. There was also this Iraq invasion of Kuwait, which began on August 2nd, 1990, and that marked the beginning of the Gulf War. After Iraq defeated Kuwait on August 4th, 1990, Iraq went on to militarily occupy the country for the next 7 months, leading to the Gulf War, which is a coalition of 42 countries led by United States from 1990 to 1991, according to Wikipedia. Some people say that the reason that Iraq invaded Kuwait was because Kuwait was producing too many oil that affected the price of oil in Iraq. And so Iraq went into Kuwait to take control of their oil, to control the price of the oil. And that led to the one of the reasons, because others say that during the Iran-Iraqi war, that Iraq borrowed 18 billion from Kuwait and didn't want to pay it back. But also there are supporting evidence that Kuwait started to produce a lot of oil that affected the price of oil in Iraq. And Iraq depends on oil. And they decided to invade Kuwait. And that led to the Gulf War, which United States led other 42 coalition countries to drive away Iraq out of Kuwait. Now, remember also the Iraqi War. The Iraqi War of 2003 to 2011, that one was when the United States and others say that Iraq has chemical weapon. They say that Iraqi has chemical weapon, and they invaded Iraq from 2003 to 2011. And the end game, the target was Iraqi oil. And after that war, Iraqi oil is now in the hand of the United States and other invaders. Also, on March 19, 2011, a NATO-led coalition began a military intervention into the ongoing Libyan civil war to implement the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1973, UNSCR 1973. And that intervention finally led to the killing of Muammar Gaddafi and the destruction of Libya as we know it today. And then the Libyan oil now in the hand of the United States and other NATO members. You see, these are all because of oil. Again, from September 2014, USA officially intervened in the Syrian war, in 2014. And in November 2019, during President Trump's first time in office, he made this statement. He ordered US troops to secure the oil fields in eastern Syria, and then said any remaining US troops in Syria were there only for the oil. You see the game? is only about oil, because oil is very important to the world economy. Oil is very important to individuals and companies and to countries. Oil is very important to to smoothing the daily lives. It operates all the machinery, from your home to businesses, to the vehicles you drive, all the automobiles, all the manufacturing sectors are all run with oil and gas. And that was why Donald Trump made that statement that US troops should secure the oil fields in eastern Syria. And since that time, United States is in control of all the oil fields in Syria. You don't know what is going on. That is why you need to join us at Nicholas Maduro Wisdom University, so you can learn, so you can understand the world you live in, so you can learn new things and grow and be better. Also, this Russian-Ukraine conflict that you are seeing is about oil. It's about oil. And the Russian-Ukraine conflict began in February 2014 with the covert invasion of the Ukrainian Autonomous Republic of Crimea by disguised Russian troops. The conflict expanded in April 2014 when Russians and local proxy forces seized territory in Ukraine's Donbas region. And the next 7 years, more than 14,000 people will be killed in fighting in eastern Ukraine. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion, the special military invasion, the special military operation. Although Russian forces made significant gains in the first days of the combat, Ukrainian defenders rebuffed attempts to seize Kyiv and other major cities, and we are soon launching counterattacks on Russian positions. That's not the case. What we are trying to let you know in the Russian case, Russian and Ukrainian case, is that this war you see going on between Russia and Ukraine is the West, is NATO, led by America, trying to use Ukraine to destabilize Russia so they can control their oil. It's about oil, because oil is very important. And don't be surprised why oil and gas are the major causes of the conflicts around the world, the wars and the attacks. And remember, on June 22, 2025, United States also attacked Iran. They attacked Iran, trying to destabilize the Iranian government to do a regime change there so that they can control Iranian oil. And also the kidnap of the Venezuela president, which just happened a few days ago, and bringing him to New York, to the United States, to do a regime change to control the oil of Venezuela. Because Venezuela has one of the highest, biggest oil deposits in the world. So it's about oil. And we will not end this lecture without trying to explain that this does not mean that the bombing or the intervention of America in Nigeria is for oil. No, the intervention of America in Nigeria is a different ball game. It's a different ball game because the e.t.c government brought in Fulani terrorists, and they have been there killing, kidnapping, doing organ business, taking lands, committing Christian genocide, and that was why America is in Nigeria. That's a different game. It's not about oil. But what we are presenting to you today is to let you know that why oil and gas are the major causes of conflicts, wars, and attacks in the world. That is why what we are presenting to you today, what you should know. And we began by giving you all the benefits from oil, according to Bob Nelson, oilandgas.org. One of them is the economic growth and job creation. It helps in economic growth and job creation. The sector supports millions of jobs worldwide, ranging from extraction to refining to transportation and marketing. You know, high-paying jobs, and it also has multiplier effect. This economic activity generates tax revenues that fund public services, such as education, healthcare, infrastructure that benefit the society. You see, oil and gas sector, oil and gas is very important to mankind. It's very important to mankind. That is one of the reasons why oil and gas are the major causes of conflicts around the world. Also, it produces energy accessibility and reliability, which means oil and gas are crucial for providing accessible and reliable energy. They account for a significant portion of the world's energy supply, empowering everything from homes, businesses, to the automobiles you drive, and to manufacturing plants. All the manufacturing activities, all the machines are dependent on the oil and gas. That is why we are encouraging Africans to develop another system of doing things that is away from oil and gas, away from this type of machines that were developed by the Western Europeans. Remember that the first manufacturing started from Britain. Industrial Revolution started from Britain. It is this Industrial Revolution that finally led to the production, to the manufacturing of the current machines, this type of machines that we are using now that uses oil and gas. Somebody in Africa, I think some people in Africa have tried to produce machines that use water to work. We have machines produced by some people in Africa that uses water, doesn't use oil and gas. That is what Africa should focus on. Develop other alternative means of doing things that are not using oil and gas, that are not the same machine as being manufactured by the Europeans. Let us develop something else, an alternative that will not be using oil and gas. It is very, very important. If we don't do that, then oil and gas will continue to cause problems, conflicts, wars, and attacks in this world. And therefore, the reliability of oil and gas as an energy source that societies can function, it makes society function smoothly with minimal disruptions to daily life. Assuming if America doesn't have oil and gas today, do you know how many millions of vehicles that uses gas in America? How about China? How about India? How about Russia? How about Nigeria? How about South Africa? So our lives are dependent on oil and gas until we change it. Now, the next thing is that the technological advancements and innovations in the industry, where people investing in the machines that are used to extract the oil and the refining and others, have led to a lot of benefits, easier way to produce the oil. That's what you're saying here. People invested in the technologies to drain the oil and to refine it. And that have made the extraction of oil better, because they invented what they call hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling. And you know, the horizontal drilling is the one day we drill an oil in Biafra land and then send the pipe to our brothers in River State. They drill the oil in Aba or Owerri, and then they do horizontal drilling and push the pipe to somewhere else and say that the oil is coming out from that place. No, the oil is coming out from Biafra land. And so the next thing is that the oil and gas sector supports other industries. The oil and gas sector supports numerous other industries, including petrochemicals, transportation, and manufacturing. The petrochemical industries are the ones that produce like plastics. They produce fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, and textiles. They support other industries. So they are very, very, very useful right now. And also they're supposed to be providing community development and philanthropy, and which means that they're supposed to have corporate social responsibility of giving things back to the community. Giving things back to the community will include funding education, funding healthcare, making sure that the environment is not damaged, unlike in Ogoni land, in our land, where the oil companies, the foreign oil companies, don't care about the environmental damage they are making on our land. And so you can see from what we have presented that a lot of people have benefited from the oil industries because they have a very high paying jobs. A lot of people have been employed across the world. A lot of infrastructure have been built. Companies have benefited. A lot of infrastructures, oil refineries, oil drilling machines, and so on and so forth. A lot of things have been, is connected to the oil and gas industry. And countries have also benefited. Many countries are in need of oil and gas because they need that for the smooth daily operation of life of their people. And therefore, that is why the oil and gas is one of the major causes of wars and attacks in the world. The Nigerian-Biafran War of 1967 to 1970 is part of it. The Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in 1990 is part of it. And then the subsequent Gulf War that followed was part of it. The invasion of Iraqi by America and others between 2003 to 2011, where Saddam Hussein was falsely accused and killed, is part of it. The invasion of Libya, the killing of Muammar Gaddafi, is part of it because now the Libyan oil is in their hand, Iraqi oil is in their hand, and also Syrian oil also is in their hand because America entered Syria in 2014, and in 2019, President Donald Trump ordered US troops to secure all the oil fields in eastern Syria. So all the oil field in Syria is in the hand of the United States, and he told them that any remaining US troops in Syria were there only for the oil. And you heard him say the same thing about Venezuela, that the oil of Venezuela now belongs to the United States. Also, the Russian-Ukraine conflict is also about oil because NATO was trying to use Ukraine to destabilize Russia so as to control their oil wealth and other natural resources in Russia. And then lastly, last year, you see, during the Israeli and American conflict with Iran, America also bombed Iran on June 22, 2025. And then a few days ago, on January 2nd, 3rd, the American government went into Venezuela to kidnap their president, Nicholas Maduro, and brought him to the United States, citing the oil, that it is oil. Now you have known why oil and gas are the major causes of conflicts and wars and attacks in the world. And with this, we shall bring it to this lecture to an end. Please, if you like our lecture, like, comment, and share. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel by pressing that bell button. Thank you very much for joining me, and Have a very, very wonderful day. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.